Amen. Okay, let's let the ambulance pass. Um, First of all, I want to thank you for coming, being a part of this. Like I said before, I'm just honored to have you here as a human. I think that what you bring to the table, as far as what I've seen, right? I know this is our first time actually meeting, but from what I've seen, has been nothing short of inspiring. And this is just coming from, like I said, from my observation. So I feel almost indebted because sometimes people don't understand the impact that they have on other people, right? Because we can be so quick to be in our own boxes and like, hey, this is my life. This is how I'm going about my life, and nobody else's matters. But not in a way where like they're not significant, but like I don't have a responsibility, right? So I just want to say thank you for coming, but I want to allow you to introduce yourself. So go ahead and let the community know who you are.
Well, thank you for having me for one.
Yeah.
I'm definitely honored to be here because, like I said, I love your podcast. But my name is Isabella, and I'm a photographer. And now, well, I was a content creator first, but I feel like God definitely was pulling on me because he was just like, yo, you've been hiding behind the camera. I need you to come in front. Yeah.
Word.
He was just like, you got a story to tell, even though I didn't want to tell it.
Okay.
But yeah, I do that. And I share my weight loss journey when I'm in the gym. And then when I'm out the gym, I be chilling.
You be chilling.
Yeah.
That's fire. I mean, that's normal. That's good.
Yeah.
I wanna dial back a little bit because you said that, you got a story to tell, but so you don't wanna. You kind of had a moment where you were just like, I don't really want to tell my story. I don't know if I even, you know what I'm saying? And I think what I heard in that statement of it, stubbornness, right? Like you were a little bit stubborn, right? Like in the beginning. Why do you think that is? Where does that mentality come from in terms of?
I feel like the mentality came from probably just worrying about people's opinions. Like growing up, I was like always bigger than most people.
Right.
And like, that's not normal. Like when you're a kid, you kind of expect other people to look like you. So like, because I didn't look like everybody else, I felt ostracized. Like I knew people was looking at me. And then I knew people treated me different because of it. And so like, when I got into photography, it was a way to hide. Like I felt like the attention wasn't on me, and I was bringing attention to other people, and I was able to like show people the beauty inside them.
Okay, you were deflecting, right?
In a way.
Yeah. That's layered because you're talking about external, right? You're talking about perception, what people see at face value. Because I think about people who have the external or the lack of the external, if you will, and how that can inadvertently push people away. And granted, you're young, so kids are kids. So they're gonna, in a way, be unapologetic about it. Like, yeah, nah, they don't look like me, so I'm not gonna, right? She's too skinny, she's too big, he's too this, he's too, like, there's all these different drop-down categories that anybody could be victim of. And I could, it takes strength to, I would say it takes strength to push through that. Because I honestly can't say that from the standpoint that you're speaking from, I can't personally relate to that. But what I can relate to is the ostracization of being the misfit, right? Seemingly in whatever capacity that may look like, just generally being a misfit, right? So with that in turn of you and like your life and your trajectory even to now, because you was talking about your weight, your weight journey, your fitness journey, and you influencing people that way, and then also coming behind the camera earlier in your life, before you got when you got into photography. Do you think about you wanting others to be seen or feeling good as a way of projecting what you truly desire for yourself? Because now you're behind the camera. Now you're like, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to hide so that they can be seen, so that they can be highlighted, so that they can be the center of attention. So the attention's not on me. You see what I'm doing, but you don't see who's doing it, right? So do you think that that was more of like a projection of what you felt internally, but like what you really desired? If you get what I'm saying?
Honestly, yeah. Because like when I think about photography, like I feel like my job is to pull the best out of people. Like you can't see yourself. Like you literally are behind, like you're in front of a lens, and you can't see what I can see. And so like getting to show people like, no, this you, it just got to come out.
Word.
Like just being a part of that process, like it made me feel better about myself. Like I was like contributing to the world in some way. So yeah, I guess you could say it was projecting, because it's like I wanted people to feel good about themselves once they see the pictures.
Right.
Like, no, this you. Even if you don't see it, other people see it. Like, this you. And I mean, maybe deep down, like, yeah, it's like, that's how I want people to see me too. Like, it's not just the outside, because the outside don't
right
necessarily make up if the inside, if you don't have anything on the inside to come forth.
I agree with that. But I could say too, like it takes a lot for some people to even get past the physical to see what's inside, right? It's truly a freeing place to be able to see past what is considered superficial, material, to then see the true beauty of what lies in somebody, right? Takes growth, takes true observation for you to really see somebody. I love this. I love the quote, "I see you," because what I think that's communicating is forget about all of this. Forget about the tears, forget about the anger, forget about, the mistakes, forget about everything that comes with you on the physical. I see you. I'm talking about the heart. That's what I think that statement speaks to. And in the heart of what you were really saying, I think that anybody who is longing to be seen in a way that isn't deterring for them and that isn't, what's the word? Defective in a way. I think everybody just wants to be seen, truly. And it takes a lot. First of all, to become comfortable with yourself to the point where you may realize, like, yeah, I'm not going to be seen by everybody. But what I do know is that I see myself. I know what I have. I know what I bring to the table. I know me. So nobody else's perception, nobody else's words, nobody else's thoughts can put me back. Because I know what I got. I'm good. Like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm 10 toes, right? So I love that. And I want to say that, and I know this is, you talking about the past, and I know you were talking about being a kid growing up. But if I'm speaking to that little girl, if I'm speaking to that little boy that might be going through, even now, that's going through that, where they feel like nobody is on their team. They feel like nobody sees them. And even without the context of being seen, they feel like they don't have anybody around them that wants to be around them. I would say, look at yourself. What do you see? Truly. Forget about everybody else. What do you see? Oh, you like your hairstyle? You like that shirt you like to wear? You like your smile? Word. There's somebody out there that likes that too. So focus on yourself in a way where you're building yourself up, pouring into yourself, and you will become and you will develop and find the people that need to be around you that will fill your cup also, right? So yeah, I just wanted to bounce off of that because what you experience is not a light thing, you know, especially going into a profession where you're like the eyes of, you know what I'm saying, of everything, right? You see, like your job literally is to see people, truly. You have to make them feel good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you taking this picture? You know, it's a job.
Yeah,
you know?
No, really, it is a job. Like to see people, and I feel like too, with this job, like the funny part was being behind the camera. You would think like, man, I got all these insecurities. Okay, I'm hide, and then like it was really just like I started photography at my heaviest weight, so I was over 400 pounds, and I remember thinking like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. But then as I started to do it and stuff, like God was showing me like, you focus so much on this and you don't take care of your health, you ain't even gonna be able to maintain it. So in that process, like I was being broken down. Like I was being broken down to the point where God had me sit down. Like he had me sit down. He like, I need you to like think about this. If this is something you want to pursue, you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta work on that inside, because the only way for my business to float, the only way for my business to progress was it was dependent on me.
Yeah.
Like the way I was treating people, the way I thought people saw me was. May I have some tissue?
That's some tissue. Tissue.
Or just a napkin.
Tissue is on the way.
Thank you. Oh my God. My nose keep running. The way that like I thought people were seeing me, it was affecting my business in like a weird way, like on the back end.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't open up and be yourself because you're so worried about how people see you that you can't do what I'm calling you here for. So as God started to like show me like you're so insecure that you're worried about how you look, you can't even bring it out of them. So then once I started to lose weight and I started to like go through that journey and my mood started to change and I was able to really start to find like some sort of confidence, like piece by piece, it was like I could go into these situations and I was able to see that the same insecurities that I had, other people do too. And I was able to see people from like a whole different light. Like God was like, it don't matter how small somebody is. They not literally dealing with the same things. These girls taking it like that I was taking pictures of, because I was mainly taking pictures of women. I'm like, they're beautiful. Oh my gosh. Like I'm reaching out to them. We get there. They like, oh my gosh, how does my hair look? Is my makeup okay? Is this okay? Oh, I don't like my face from this side. And I'm like, whoa. And because God was doing the work in me, I was able to relate. And I was able to say, it's okay. You look good. Like, I'm telling them, like, let's just relax. Let's dial it back. What do you need? You need some music? You got to feel yourself. Like, it was crazy to see that, like, he was showing me, like, the same thing that you felt like you were the only one dealing with this. So many other people are dealing with it too.
Wow. He gave you the perception that you never had, right? He let you see from the other side of it, right? That's so crazy that you amounted the growth. Or no, let me backtrack. That's not crazy. It's beautiful that you amounted the growth of your career, of your health, to taking a step back from the thing that you were doing. You took a step back from the career. You took a step back from making this money. You took a step back from maybe being fulfilled in that way. Because God's like, look at what really matters. What was I just saying? The materials. These things have the weight of, we think about what's important in life and we think about the big things. Okay. We always bring the importance, and then we make importance synonymous with big. Like, you know what I mean? But the reality is, in life, the most important things, in my opinion, are the things that are easy to look over. They're easy to, oh, I didn't even see that was right there. Oh, I thought that was just a one day thing. Oh man, those are the things that are important to go back and check, right? So you're talking about, okay, cool, I'm a photographer. I'm taking photos of these women. I'm trying to hype them up. I'm really not that confident in myself. I'm gaining weight. I'm the heaviest I've ever been. If I continue, I'll no longer be able to take pictures of these women. I can't even hype them up no more, right?
Yeah.
I can't show up and be that for them when I don't even show up and be that for myself.
Thanks.
Because who I am to myself shows up in how I walk in my life, right? And vice versa, even with people in your life, who you hang around the most will bleed through you because they are your biggest influence, usually, right? Yeah. But I think that I'm sorry, let me backtrack. I think why that's beautiful is because you have to then make a commitment to really focus and kind of make do what is due, right? You had to make the executive decision to take care of yourself. You had to prepare yourself so that you may be able to fill this role so that you can take care of others, right?
Yeah.
You can't pour into people from an empty cup. Because when you pour, you dripping.
Yeah.
What's left, right? It has to be even. It has to continually be filling. So you need to be one around the people that are going to fill you up. Go to God first and have him fill you up. Because again, he can help you see what's simple. He can help you see, like, listen, I understand you want to take photos, you want to hype these girls up, and you want to have a successful business, but you really need to look at your diet. You need to get up and go to the gym. You need to take a break. Stop sitting around. Be nice to yourself. Speak life to yourself. Okay, you talking to them, but what about you? How do you feel? Right? Or is what you're saying what you want to hear? Or is what you saying what you truly believe? Not about them, but about yourself. Because if you don't believe you're beautiful, but you're calling somebody else beautiful, that can inadvertently make you feel less than. And now your cup is just slowly declining. And now you feel depressed. Now you feel insecure, right? Now you don't feel worthy. So what you're talking about and taking that step back and refocusing, and again, what you said, you were the heaviest you've ever been. You said you were over 400 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody knows that is, that can be probably hard, considering that, you have to then think about so many different decisions that you need to make in order to get to where you need to get to, which is why these journeys, and yours specifically, which is why I'm so inspired by you, it's such a big deal to me because it's not easy. It's not easy, So the fact that you're here is great, but I just wanted to say that to say, you're doing great. I think you're doing amazing. I think that you following and you being obedient to God's call, and then you taking that step back and taking care of yourself, it's good because now you can sit here and you can tell that story. The one that you said you didn't want to tell earlier, you can tell that story. You're able. So that's good.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the main reason why I didn't want to talk about it was because I'm like, God, this is something I was dealing with my whole life. It was something that, I knew was a big deal, but it was like I was avoiding it. And, I had always wanted to make a change.
Right.
It's just I didn't imagine having to make the change in the middle of me thinking I was already changing. Like, photography felt like a change because it was like, okay, like I'm transitioning from high school, I'm going into my career.
Yeah.
I'm figuring things out. I know you told me to buy this camera. And I started my YouTube channel. And I was, at first, the YouTube channel was way before the photography. So it was like, I started my YouTube channel thinking like, oh, like I love how these people vlog. Like,
right.
I love how they just come on here, they do the Q&As, they talk to people. And I'm thinking like, okay, my channel gonna be like that. I might do like makeup videos here and there.
Right.
And then that was when I started to, like, I got the camera and I started to shoot and stuff. And then I had plans that God like was interrupting. I felt like I felt like, hold on, wait. Like, I wanted to do it this way. He like, yeah, your channel not gonna take off with that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna grow from, at least for me, God was showing me like, you're not gonna grow from just putting makeup videos online.
Right.
Like, that's not what I want you to do that for. That's actually not even what I got you the camera for. Like, I didn't, like, it was really just like that story that I was avoiding. I remember around that specific time, like, I didn't even know I hit 400 pounds. I just knew I couldn't fit my pants. I just knew like, my knees hurting a little bit. And then it was like, okay, talk about it. Like, post a video. And as soon as I posted that video, I had got like some of the most views I ever got. Yeah. Organically. Yep. And I was like, oh, wait. And I got so many people like reaching out to me like, yo, I'm 40 and I feel this. Like, it's so many older women that have reached out to me, and even younger women, or even some of my closest friends who are on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Like, I'm small and I relate to this. And it hit different because it was just like, this thing that you've been avoiding is really what God is going to use. And I feel like, for me, I grew up thinking like, okay, you could use me for sure. But when God uses you in a way that you don't expect, it's like, whoa. And then, like, you were talking about like the responsibility of impact. Yes. So I didn't want to be held responsible for that. I didn't want to be held responsible. God,
I didn't ask for this position. I don't know what you're like, doing, but hey,
I'm like, I mean, this sound nice.
Word, yeah.
But I also knew I dealt with inconsistency. I also knew like what led me to being overweight was emotional eating. All that hiding I did, literally just sitting by myself, feeling so misunderstood. Right. And he like, but I need you to tell people that. And I'm like, why?
I want to sit in that for a second. Because your truth, the truth isn't even supposed to be held in. Let's keep it a buck. The truth is not supposed to be held in. Truth is supposed to be out. What does the truth do? It sets you free, right? So if the truth sets me free and I'm holding the truth inside of me, what does that then mean? I'm locked up. I'm not free. Yeah. There's no way for me to heal. Nobody even knows I'm going through this. Oh, they see I'm going through it. They don't know, right? They see the symptom. They don't know the scope, right? And so it's powerful that you did that. But what I realized and what you said is that the moment that you told your story, gave your testimony, is the moment that everybody was just like, yo, I'm dealing with this too. I'm 40 and going with this. I'm small and going through this. It's the scope. It doesn't have a specificity, right? Everything has a root to it, okay? Everybody's pride can look different. Everybody's sadness can look different. But all in all, it's all the same root, right? So if the root is here and the root is there, let's say this is pride, let's say this is sadness. What's going to grow? A tree. What comes off of trees? Branches. Off of branches, leaves, right? Imagine a root being this group of people and this group of people. The tree grows. Now it's a bunch more people. Branches grow. Oh my goodness, it's getting crazy. Leaves grow. Are you kidding me? We got families now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes that deep. But it just shows you that these things can grow and spread out. So they look different, although they're all the same with the root. And what you spoke to, and I'm sure I didn't see your testimony, but what I would imagine you spoke to in your journey, in your experience, everybody heard the root, which is why they were able to respond like, yeah, I'm going through this too. I'm anorexic. I'm small. I'm going through this, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But what we were just saying before this, you can't limit God. And you can't limit what is supposed to come out of you. The moment you stop it, you're stopping everybody else from experiencing and receiving that revelation, that breakthrough, right? That hard conversation, right? With their family, that hard conversation with their friend group. Man, listen, I've been depressed for 2 weeks. And none of y'all knew. Is it y'all fault? Nah. But I didn't say nothing. And in those situations, it's like I can easily psych myself out, or not me, but me, yes, but people alike can psych themselves out into thinking, oh, it's their fault because they didn't reach out to me. Oh, I got a story to tell. My testimony needs to be heard, but they're not asking me about it. It's nobody else's responsibility to tell your truth. Yeah. God gave you the call. He called your phone. You got to answer the phone, right? That's big. Honestly, and I relate to that too. My whole life, I've, in some way, in every room I've been in, been a misfit. I've always stood out, but nobody ever knew what was behind that door. Nobody ever knew what I was fighting, what I was struggling with, what I was battling, right? Even some of my closest friends can't or couldn't perceptionalize, oh, Justin's going through this? I was just with him. He was just smiling and everything, laughing, like cooling. And I'm just like, nah, bro, but that was the toughest day of the week. Yeah?
Yeah.
So it goes to show what you've individually went through specifically in your situation. It may be specific to you, but it isn't exclusive to you, because everybody else can feel the same and it may look different. But I think if you're able to see it as, okay, cool, you went through the same thing and you're not where I'm at, but you're there and you went through this, that, and third, it enables you to take the blinders off and then be able to have grace and open your heart. And now you're talking about responsibility, help. Because now you have perspective. Now, the way I see it, God said to you, I didn't even tell you to get the camera for this. You looking at them. That's your standard over there, right? A couple episodes ago, we were talking about a standard, right? And where your standard is and what is your standard. Where are you going back to? Are you the standard, or do you have a standard that you're following, right? So if you look at something, you're like, yeah, that's dope. I want to do that. That's the standard, right? By default, because now you're trying to follow it. You're trying to uphold that image. You're trying to mimic it, right? So what is your standard? Is your standard the women doing makeup and doing this, that, doing that, whatever? Are they the standard? Or is God your standard, right? What does he say about you, right? Where did he tell you to go, right? How did he tell you to be? You know what I'm saying? Are you being an image bearer? Are you walking in faith? That's the standard for you. So it's like, what is it, okay? And because you followed the standard, you were able to touch this person, that person, this person, this person, that person, this person. And now you have a whole community behind you like, yes, Isabella, you inspire me, you influence me, I love you. Because of you, girl, I dropped 20 pounds. Because of you, I gained 20 pounds. Because of you, I'm able to go to the gym every day. Because of your daily videos, You made me want to go because I did not want to go. I promise you. Today, when I woke up, you couldn't have got me to go to the gym. So it's like, you got to think about that. And I don't want, it can easily bring pressure, obviously, because you feel like, man, now I have to be this. But sometimes the power is not always in being, what's the word? The power isn't always in being what is seemingly a positive influence. And what I mean by that is like, if you post 30 days out of the month, right? 30 days straight, and you're up and you're happy for 30 days, you might think that that's powerful, which it can be for some people. But what about that 31st day where you wasn't feeling too good? That's powerful too, because that can then, it's like a domino effect in the best way. It can make somebody feel or make somebody think about, man, I'm feeling this too. Let me hit Isabella up. Let me check on her. Let me make sure she's good because I see she wasn't feeling today. And we talk, oh, now I'm feeling good. Now you both feeling good. But your good days can inspire people and your bad days can too. Yo, if you like what you're listening to and you want more, come join the Full Circle community. Link is in the bio. I'm there, team's there. We kick it, we have fun, we have conversation. And overall, we just hang out. If you want to be around like-minded people in the community, then do what's best for you. Join the community. I'll see you there. You know?
Yeah, I feel like in the past year, since my platform has grown, God actually had me shift twice. Mm-hmm. Like, I had a moment at the beginning of my career, like where it was like, okay, I want you to take a step back from photography. And then right after the pandemic, that was when God was like, okay, yeah, I want you to move again. And then I went to Atlanta. So I was going to Atlanta, like back and forth. Yeah. And then I felt like God was like, no, I want you to go. Like, he released me. I'm like, okay, bet. I'm like, all right, you let me leave Michigan. Okay, we outside. Say less. Okay. But when I got there, it was cool, but I wasn't focused. Like, I couldn't maintain both. Mm-hmm. I was heavily into my work, heavily focused on photography, heavily focused on the money. Like, okay, how can I get more clients? How can I do this? How can I do that? Chasing that bag. Yeah. I found half of my prayers being, okay, God, if this client do this, we gonna do this. He's like, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. But then I started to feel God telling me, like, post a reel. I'm like, no. Huh? What? A reel? We didn't agree to this. This wasn't in the contract. Wait a minute. I was doing YouTube. What are you talking about? Yeah. Post a reel. I'm like, oh. Right. And then literally, the day that I was actually obedient and I posted my first reel, I seen how it performed and I said, okay. But I kept feeling it like heavily, like, no, I keep posting reels. And then in the process of me continuing to post reels, that's when they started to go viral. And I was like, I'm like, hold on, wait. I'm like 25K. I'm like, it was just 6K yesterday. Hold on. And then one day, like, one of the reels just like took off. Yeah. And I was like, oh. And I remember around the time when I was just in Atlanta and I was working. Yeah. I told one of my friends, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not ready for the responsibility of what it's going to look like once my platform takes that shift. Right. And I knew at that time, like, I wasn't ready to tell people, like, no, I emotionally eat. That's why I'm so inconsistent. Like, I knew I wasn't ready to tell people, like, yeah, the moment somebody made me mad, I'm going to get the ice cream. Like, I'm going to sit in my feelings. I'm going to take my break. Yeah. I'm going to sulk in that. Like, I wasn't ready to be like that. But then as my platform expanded, I felt a sudden shift and God was like calling me back home to Michigan. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, but you sent me here. You sent me to Atlanta. I like it here. It's cool. I'm like, wait a minute. It's cute. It's still sunny. It's a little windy sometimes. We don't see no snow though. I'm like, I thought I was here to stay. He like, no. I'm calling you home. I'm gonna make it real uncomfortable for you. So you have to go. And then I go back home and I got this platform. I grew 50K in less than a month. Less than like 2 months, actually. And I'm looking at it like, this what you want me to do? And I'm not gonna lie, like it's been a tug of war because it's like, you want me to be so honest, but I'm like, I can't be honest with myself sometimes. Yeah. Like it's hard to face just by myself. And so to have to like explain that to other people, like, this is what I deal with. I was hesitant. And then the moment that when I came back home and I was telling people like, you know, I don't want y'all to have like these expectations, because I'm like, I was doing this, I was doing the fitness thing on my own time. But I knew God was like, no, I post. And so the moment that I posted a video and I talked about overeating, I got a flood of people telling me like, yo, I deal with emotional eating too. Yo, I deal with overeating too. Yeah. I'm so inconsistent too, but like you talking about it though, like it, like they could relate to it. And then it hit me like, this was never about you. And the whole time I was just making it about me. Like, I'm like, no, not me, not me. And I'm like, no, why not you though? Why wouldn't you want to tell people that you went through this and I saw you through it? Why wouldn't you want to be a living testimony? Not like just oh yeah, I lost all the weight and then I popped out. Like, no, I want you to show the journey because it means something. And somebody else is going through it. And so I went from why me to okay. And it was like God was really shifting my perspective to show me like the responsibility is here because of my requirement of you. Like, to whom much is given, much is required. You asked for this. Yeah. There we go. You was asking me for the platform. You just didn't want it this way.
Wow. You didn't want it this way.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you want a community to talk to, you want them to ask you questions. Let's get to the root though. Yeah. Like you said, the root, like he's like, yo, okay, we gonna talk, we gonna do the questions. They gonna ask you what you eating. Yeah. Why you eating like that? Okay, well, how did you do that? What gym do you go to? How you find your workouts? I'm like, oh. But it turned in a nice way though. Yes. I went from hating the idea of talking about my journey to loving the idea that like it's helping somebody. There we go. Like, it was interesting because it was like, now I'm excited to post. Yeah. Now I'm excited to see like, yo. Yeah. Somebody did lose 10 pounds because they saw me in the gym. Yeah. Somebody did want to change their life. Like, I'm getting up out of the bed. Like, literally, as soon as I post, I'm getting out the bed right now just because I seen you post. I'm not even at the gym when I posted the video. I'm going to the gym in like an hour. But because you seen the video I'm posting, now it's like, oh. And I feel like once I kind of realized that, like, this not about you. The call is greater than you. What you about to show people is different. Like, even just how I walk outside now. How confident I am in myself now is nothing but God. It's nothing but that pruning that I was avoiding. Yes. Yeah. Where he's like, yo, you so worried about how you are on the outside. Like, I'm trying to show you that you can't even love people how I want you to love yourself. You can't love them until you love yourself. You can't give that love that I need you to until you love yourself. And so, like, I started to grow, like, just in my confidence. And, like, people seeing it, like, yo, how are you so confident now? And it's like I've been able to have little conversations with other women, older and younger, telling them like, this is what I did. I started to go to the gym. I started to eat better. I started to figure out my style, dressing like in comfortable ways, like, because when I was doing all that hiding, I was in hoodies, I was in bigger clothes. Like, I'm like, man, like, you're not even gonna feel good about yourself. But now I'm able to tell people like, yo, this is what I did. And it just hit different.
Wow. Yeah. You said it. You said it. Responsibility. God, I didn't ask for this position. In fact, I didn't even ask for it this way. I wanted this platform, but I didn't want it this way. I asked for the call back, but I wasn't prepared for the call. Right?
I wasn't prepared for the conversation.
For the conversation. There we go. It gets deeper, right? Yeah, it is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's nothing more humbling than knowing that you are not the most important person in the room. In fact, I would say it's more rewarding to know that, because truly, if you are allowing God to lead, then you will know that everybody around you are there to aid and assist you in your call. If you answer it, if you're obedient to it, then you're able to see the fruit of it before it even is produced. You're able to see what the purpose of it is sometimes, not all the time. But in those situations where you're like, okay, cool. All right, God, I said yes. This is what I'm saying yes to. All right, cool. My hand's off. My foot's off the gas. I'm ready. But am I really? But even if I'm not, your will be done.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the ability to submit yourself to a point where you're knowing that these things are going to come through, the pruning. You're knowing you're going to go through a tough season where you're just probably not going to be that confident. You know, you might be struggling with making that video that God's been telling you to make for the last 5 months. Self-hate, insecurity. You know that comes with the territory. But as long as you know, He wouldn't send you somewhere you wouldn't be equipped for. He wouldn't call you if you weren't the one equipped for it. You understand what I'm saying? You may not see that you are equipped because you're so stubborn in your ways, but believe it, nonetheless, you're ready. It just take okay, this is, all right, okay. Now I like making these videos. I get it now. God, I love it here though. It's so nice. Winter barely exists here. Like, it's nice outside. I gotta go. God, it's November. You tripping. I don't know what you talking about. It's about to get cold.
It was a cold January on that way home.
Okay. But it's the reality of it, in a sense that He never said it was going to be easy, did He? He never said, oh, I'm going to lay it out for you. He never said that.
Never.
Clear as day. He said, I'm not going to lay it out for you. Like, I'm not going to give you the straightaway. You're going to go through some stuff.
Yeah.
But are you going to lean on me completely? Are you going to let me be the standard? Are you going to allow me to carry? Are you going to be obedient?
Man.
You answered the call, but are you going to follow the instruction? Right? So for you to say the things you said, and also for you to have the outcome that you had, which is crazy. You said how much in a month? 50K?
Yeah, it was like 50K in 2 months.
Yeah, 50K in 2 months. Crazy.
Yeah.
That not only is a responsibility, is an influence, but it's a ministry. That's your bubble. That's where you are at. That's where you need to be. It's bigger than you. And it's okay that it's bigger than you. Because the value that comes from that are the people's lives that are being impacted. That's why I could care less about, like I said, you could take the mic away. You could take the cameras away. Full circle can end today. I know what God called me to do. And this is a part of it, but this is not it. This is a way to facilitate it, but this is not it. I was doing the podcast before the podcast existed. I was in rooms. Oh, what's up, bro? I see you over there by yourself. Let me talk to you for a second. Oh, man, I'm having a hard day. Let me pray for you. Let's talk about it. I've been doing this. So this is not the standard. He is. This is just the tool. Any person that's building a house got to take a break, right? You got to put the ladder up. You got to put the tools in the toolbox. You got to go to sleep. Can't work 24 hours a day. So when this turns off, am I done? Nah. It just looks different. Does everybody got to know? Nah. I don't boast in myself. I boast in Christ. You got to understand that. So the humbleness comes from understanding that, yeah, it's bigger than me. I'm small. I'll be that. I'm cool with that. I've struggled and I've dealt with the whole ego thing and the pride thing and the, oh man, I want to be seen thing. I've dealt with that. It brought me nothing but more of that and more hurt, more damage, right? More blinding, more blinders. That's what I meant to say. But now they're off. I have a bird's eye view. Am I perfect? No. And I think that's what I wanted to talk to as well, is that what I think we're exposed to is the fact that nobody is perfect. Yeah, you going through it, but you think that, man, I'm going through it. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed maybe. And it's always somebody in the room like, man, I'm not the only one, and that makes them feel good. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that when somebody else hears somebody else going through something, that they're like, oh my goodness, now I feel better about myself? You know?
You know, I feel like it could be a plethora of different things. Like, it could be that while somebody can relate, I'm not alone.
Right.
But it also could be like, it could be a negative way too. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I see their insecurities, so they're no better than me.
Ooh, yeah. There's the other side of it. Yeah.
Because I've seen both sides. Uh-huh. And I mean, honestly, I felt both sides. Mm-hmm. But I feel like for me, with the journey, I've leaned more towards the first one. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, wow, like, you know, different than me. Mm-hmm. And it just makes me feel like more down to earth though. Where it's like, I don't walk into rooms and just like solely judge people off of like their appearance. Like, I'm really like, no, who are you? Mm-hmm. Like, who are you to your core? Yeah. Like, even down to like choosing friends and stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, like, who are you as a person? Yes. How do you see people? How do you respond to people? And realizing like, yo, nobody's perfect. Mm-hmm. It's allowed me to show up as me. Mm-hmm. Like, now I don't feel like I gotta pretend anymore. Mm-hmm. Especially with feeling more confident. It's like the same way you think like, man, I'm just always in my head. Somebody that you're talking to can literally be in their head at the same exact time. Like, oh my gosh, what does this person think of me? Mm-hmm. And it's like, if we all thinking the same thing, what really matters then? Mm. And once I realized, like, God's opinion is what matters the most. Mm-hmm. Like, the Bible talks about seeking Him. Mm-hmm. He didn't say seek the world. Right. He said, man, look at the outer appearance, but I look at your heart. Mm-hmm. Once I like really understood that, it was like, oh, none of this matters. Like, yeah, get in shape for sure. Right. But like your heart though, like how you how you are on the inside, like who you are, that's going to bleed. Like that's what people remember you for. They're not gonna remember you for your shoes.
Yeah.
They're not gonna remember you for like, oh, you had on designer.
Yeah.
Like okay, you touched lives because you wore Gucci, or you touched lives because when you came in the room, you made people feel something.
Right. Where's the impact?
Where's the impact? Are you impacting like in a good way or a bad way?
In a real way or a superficial way?
Yeah.
Right? Because it goes back to the standard. How are you seeing this? Because what most people won't say, and I'm pretty sure you've come across this, there's always that one person in the room that is quiet because they don't want to really be themselves. And so they're waiting for somebody else who might be similar to them, but they're open. They're like, yeah, I love Pokemon cards, or I love this show, or I love eating that food, or man, I love going to this show and did it, like whatever, right? Whatever it is. And they feel like because of who they've been around and how they've been conditioned into making this appearance be loud, that they're not able and they won't be accepted as who they really are because they spend so much time being this person that they're not. And so the mind plays tricks on them because now they're chilling in a coffee shop by themselves. Let's say at the crib, they're like, yeah, man, I like this. I play football. You know what I'm saying? I like rap music, and I like doing this and that and that, woo woo, right? But in reality, when they go home from high school and they by themselves, they play the piano. They draw. They do things creatively, but they're not able to express themselves like that because that's not the popular thing in their school. And granted, there are people around them that are just like, yeah, bro, that's lame. Weirdos do that. That's not cool. But at the coffee shop, drawing by themselves, and then they see a group of people drawing by themselves, and they're like, man, I wish I could do that with other people. I wish my friends would accept me like that. So it just goes back to impact. Because that's silent impact. But that silent impact has the power to influence somebody who's been silent to being loud. Not, and kind of similar to what you were saying. Like, you didn't want to tell your story, but then you told it. And you saw the fruits of it. And the fruit helped you see the purpose, right? And the purpose helped you feel the purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's so solid. And it's real life. It's reality. I know we don't have much more time, but I do want to ask you, because you said so much, and I'm so grateful that you released and you got that out, because I've been impacted this entire conversation. But I want to ask you, in all of these experiences and the revelations, and even now, your mental health, your head, your heart, how have those things changed? How have, in some places, maybe they've remained the same for you as it pertains to everything that you kind of just walked us through?
Mentally, I feel like I'm able to be myself. Like, spending my whole life hiding and feeling like, oh, I don't want to be seen, or I don't want to be seen in the way that I think people are seeing me. Now I'm able to see myself, like, through God's lens. Like, yes, you are my child. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, you are blood with a price. Like, I can affirm myself in his word because I know it. Yeah. And, like, I truly believe that. And, like, amen. Before, those were just scriptures. Yes. But now it's like I can walk in the room and I know who I am. And I can stand on that. And before, I wasn't able to stand on that. Before, it was like, well, I only know that when the spirit's high. But now it's like, no, I know that. I know who I am. You can't shake me from that. Yeah. And then, too, I feel like now I'm able to really... Like, I feel like I've always been a people person and able to make friends and stuff like that. But I'm like, nah, I'm able to actually, like, almost effortlessly just make friends. Because it's like, because I know myself, like, I see you. And I'm like, I'm not going to, I make people feel comfortable because I know what it's like not to feel comfortable.
Yes.
So I feel like in many ways, from going on this journey and from just transforming, like, I've transformed so much positively. Like, I can actually be there for people. I can actually be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Even if it hurts, even if it makes me cry, like I could talk through the conversation now without shutting down. And I'm able to do the same thing for everybody else.
Yeah.
Or even just wearing certain clothes. Like I'm like, okay, how do I make this look good on me? Like how do I make this work for me? Like I'm just thinking about things differently.
Yeah.
And like being able to figure out what works for me. And
That's
then
good.
Being able to do the same for others.
Wow. Well, I receive it. I receive everything you said, truly, for sure. And I encourage any woman, any guy, honestly, that's listening to this, anybody that is affected in these ways and that can relate. Like I said, on the root level, you don't have to look the same on the face, but it's the root that counts. And so it's a root that everything grows from. So we need to understand that in order to figure out where the symptoms are coming from, you got to go back to the root. I hope and I pray that everybody is impacted by this conversation, that they receive these words with the open heart, and that we just continue to love ourselves so that we may love others alike, truly. Yeah, that was good. This is good. I'm happy we had this. To all the listeners, to all the watchers, thank you for tuning in. I see you guys next week for another episode. God bless. Godspeed. We out.